Hello, welcome to this episode of the SkillsTx tutorial series. My name is Paul Collins. I'm going to take you through an introduction to the analytics feature within the administration console. First of all, let's have a look at what we're going to cover in this episode, some very high-level overview of the basic features. We use Microsoft Power BI as the engine behind our analytics. So we'll just have a look at some of the features that are available in that product. Then we'll drop down into a little bit more detail and look at the page filters that we've applied. Gives you the capability to slice and dice information. And finally, a couple of use case scenarios in terms of how analytics is used in the real world. So let's immediately jump across into the administration console. As you're probably aware, when you log into the admin console, you're immediately presented with the dashboard to just give you the running commentary on activity, and the option directly below dashboard, analytics. Click on analytics, and we'll just wait a few seconds, maybe even a minute, while it loads that data model into this page. So there we go. We've now got the first page presented. So one thing to point out right up front is that within Power BI you have the option to create a number of pages and present different data or present the data differently. Currently I'm looking at individual skills. It's giving me the sort of helicopter view of the workforce. I can look at the workforce from the point of view of levels of responsibility, so that's another page, and you can see the various pages across the bottom. We'll just go back to individual skills, and we'll use this just to explore some of the basic features within Power BI and our analytics capability. If I hover over any of these sections, various icons appear in the header bar. So over on the right hand side here, the first one we'll have a look at is the focus button. So if I go into focus mode, it's going to expand that particular aspect of the analytics, give me a clearer view. And in this case, I'm looking at a tree map. And the tree map is aligned to the categories within Sophia, and indeed the color coding is exactly the same as within Sophia. So this gives me a view of the whole workforce and what skills I've got. If I hover over it, just gives me a little more breakdown. So here's strategy and architecture, financial, and I've got 4 people that have nominated of having a skill level within that skill. Okay. Another feature within Power BI, look over here on the left-hand side where it makes sense, we have drill down. So whilst I'm in focus mode, let's have a look at this. So if we drill down, it goes to the next level of hierarchy, in this case subcategory and skill code. So I've got basically the same information, but now I've gone to a greater level of granularity. We're looking at this from a subcategory point of view. And again, subcategory is obviously directly aligned with Sophia. I've still got an option to go further down, so let's do that. I'm now down at skill levels and skill codes within each category. So, you know, all the level 4 skills and the number of people that's indicated that they have those skills. It's now grayed out the drill down, but I can obviously drill up. So we've got 3 levels in this particular tree map. Another option over here on the right hand side, if I click on the dots, says more options, export data. If I select that option, it's going to provide me with a copy of all the information that's sat behind this tree map in a CSV format, so that I can manipulate that, do whatever I like with it offline outside of the admin console. Back to reports, going to take me back to the main page. And at this point, let's have a look at some of the filters that are available. So a very basic filter. We can use the tree map, can pick relationship management here. Got 2 people with that skill. If I click on it, over on the right hand side, it's now filtered, and you can see the 2 names there that have that skill at various levels, hence the reason they appear a few times. So pretty basic from that point of view. If I just click it again, it takes me back to the full data set. I could Also filter by category, just hit one of these and we're straight into a category. I can then filter down to subcategory, and all these filters are cumulative, as you can probably see. The filters I just described there are Sophia related, obviously, but within SkillsTx we've got some unique features that I'll just point out to you, because this does give you greater insights into the skills across your workforce. First thing we'll point out is this thing called result type. So I've got two options, self-rated and validated. Hopefully fairly self-explanatory. Self-rated will give me all the results as people completed either in the self-assessment survey or the latest version of their self-rated profile from the SkillsTx Planner console. So you can see when I look at self-rated data, that overall picture is showing that we've got quite a good spread of skills in the strategy and architecture category. If I look at the validated skills, suddenly the picture changes. Although this is test data, it's actually quite accurate. So we quite often would see this, that validated skills are usually against the operational aspects of an organization. And you can see here that we've got that slight switch in delivery and operation has now become the more prominent category. So I can toggle around and look at the workforce from different points of view. If I want to uncover maybe skills that I didn't know I have, then self-rated would be one of the options I could select. Another aspect from SkillsTx point of view is this thing that we refer to as capability. When we assess skills, we don't use a binary approach in terms of do you have it or not. We allow for you to indicate that you mostly have the skill, partially somewhere between 50 and 80% you recognize a skill within yourself or when it's being validated, and previous meaning that it's a skill that you don't currently practice but you've certainly had that skill previously. So when we're looking for people with particular skills, if we don't find them in validated mostly, for example, we can start to look at, well, okay, you know, I might not have the exact skills I'm looking for as mostly, but if I've got somebody that's previously got the skill, so if I'm looking for IT operations here, you click on that, you see I've now got one person that had that skill previously. If I need that skill for a particular reason, I've now got a candidate, and it may be just a refresher rather than a full training intervention that's required. Other filters over here, country, location, position and team, that's based on the data that you load into the system against individuals prior to assessment. So it just gives you an opportunity again to slice and dice. So I want to see what skills I've got in the office of the CIO. There we go. Not surprisingly, the majority of the skills are around strategy and architecture. Okay, so that's taking you through the high-level features. These are part of Power BI. You probably noticed that as I was selecting those filters, they were cascading down across the other filters. We'll move on now and we'll have a look at a couple of use cases. So we'll come across here into skills matrix. So this is giving me a breakdown of all the skills as they're distributed across the entire workforce that was part of this particular assessment. So one of the use cases may be that I need to put a project team together fairly quickly. So I look for the skills that I require in a project team. So I can just scroll down and we can find some, you know, project management type skills. So we can select, it might be a high-level project, so I need some portfolio management. So I select that. And you can probably see at the top of the screen there, this list of people is being filtered as I'm selecting these. So it's sort of building the team for me as I go through. Maybe we need some relationship management, so I click that and now got more people included. I've then got the others here that I can say, well, actually, you know, I just want validated skills. I want this to be very accurate, so I select that, and now it's taken me to another level of filtering. And I could go even further than that and say, actually, you know, let me start with the best I can get and just look for people that's mostly got the skill. And now you can see a much more filtered list. Once I've been through this, selected the skills I need in this particular project, I can come up here, hit export data, and take that data offline and go and work out whether those particular people are available, etc. Same can be applied to things such as a bid team. So if we're putting a bid team together, or even a delivery team for a particular piece of work, I can come through here and get the sort of A team, if you will, or I can use various filters to at least find the skills somewhere within the organization. The other scenario we might have is just a very quick comparison, looking for people that could perform a particular role. I can look at it from here, say, okay, I need a programmer, so I click on programmer. That's going to give me all the skills here that a programmer needs, and I can just then come down here and start selecting those skills. See that immediately I don't have this skill in this list here, so that's, you know, within the workforce, that's a skill that's missing across the whole workforce. Scroll down a bit more, we'll have a look, see if we've got any of the others in here. See, I'm missing another skill there as well, ports, etc. So just a quick way of making an association between jobs and whether we have those skills within the workforce. Okay, come back over here, just knock these filters off, and we'll have a look at another use case. So as a sort of risk management perspective, if you will, there's a couple of pages that we've added in this latest release. They're referred to as force graphs. Let's have a look at one. We'll look at self-rated data initially. So a force graph is where we look at entities that are related together by some form of relationship, and the strength of that relationship is the force between the two entities. In this case, we're looking at people and jobs, and the force between them is how well they match the job. So we have matching algorithms that take an individual's profile, match against the job profile, and calculate a percentage. So I'm looking at the whole workforce here, quite a complicated force graph, as you can see. I can actually hover over and get some information, so I can see that Andy is currently a change manager and he matches that 90%. The red lines, if I hover over, that's somebody that's nominated. So Alan here has nominated himself in future to maybe be a senior security officer, and he's currently matches it at 47%. However, of course, with a large workforce, that would be quite a complicated force graph. So let's just look at a quick scenario here. So this organization has created a new job of service manager, moving into a more service-focused environment. So if I click on service manager here, what immediately has happened is I've now filtered that data, and it's giving me a force graph with relationships to individuals that have got a percentage match to service manager. So I'm looking for somebody that I could put into this role on a secondment basis, maybe as a trial. And amazingly, down here I've got this type of relationship. So people that have indicated that that's their current job or a job they'd like to do in the future, or they haven't actually nominated a relationship, but there's still a relationship in terms of the percentage match. So the first thing I'd do here is say, okay, well, I'm looking for a service manager, and somebody through the planner console has actually said they'd like to do that as a future job. Immediately here that I see that Donna has indicated that she'd like to be a service manager in future, so that's fine. Let's go with Donna's preference and say, okay, we'll second Donna into the service management role. However, we need to now backfill what the job that Donna has currently got. So I'll select Donna here, and I'll switch off the service manager, and I'll knock off future, and I'll select current. So Donna currently is financial officer. So if I move Donna into the service manager role, which she's indicated she'd quite like to do, so that sounds good, we now have a gap for financial officer. So I'll highlight financial officer, we'll unselect Donna, we'll unselect current, and now I've got some candidates that could perform the financial officer role. Obviously I'm seeing Donna here because that's what she's currently doing, and I'm looking at the strength of the force here, and I've got two really good candidates. I've got Dimitri and I've got June. So let's have a look, see if those particular people would fit this particular job. So I'm going to highlight June and find out what June currently does. So June currently is Chief Technology Officer. So straight away that's indicating to me, whilst June certainly could perform the financial officer's job, June's already performing above that level, so probably not such a good candidate. So let's have a look at Dimitri. We'll knock June off. Dimitri is currently change manager, so that would maybe be a promotion or a sideways move. So that's looking quite promising. What I want to do now is see whether or not we'd have a problem if we move Dimitri out of the change management role. So I'll select change manager, I'll switch Dimitri off, and I can see that actually the good thing is we've got Andy that's already a change manager alongside Dimitri, so that now is starting to indicate that maybe Dimitri would be a good option. So bit of a whistle-stop presentation there, but as you can see, I was just sort of using various filters to inform my decision making. It's not a foregone conclusion that when I get to the information I want that's actually going to happen. But what it's done, it's given me a very, very quick way to narrow down a candidate, to de-risk a situation. If I can see that I've got gaps if I move people around, or if somebody is performing at a higher role, what happens to the role they're performing and who could perform that. Just one final thing I'll cover off before we leave this, because I've made this reference to types down here, and it's quite critical in terms of where that comes from, because that is forming part of this force graph. So I'll just pop across into the planner console just so you can see the reference. So for every individual that's been given access to their skill profile in the planner console, you can see here, I'm looking at this guy, Alan, and currently his associated job is network analyst, and his future job is senior security officer, and the percentage matches. So this person is able to edit that, change their current job, change their future job as they get promotions or have aspirations for something different. If I come back over here into this and we go to senior security officer, knock change manager off, you'll actually see that Alan is here. I look at future, there we go. So that information that we're now looking at in this force graph had some relationship back to the planner console, because Alan had nominated senior security officer as his future job, and I'm now viewing that here. So that's just to make the connection between the planner and the analytics. I'll now sign off, and as always, if there's any questions, by all means contact me, and hopefully you'll enjoy using the analytics.